3 months of bloodshed and destruction began with warnings. In February, the U.S. intelligence community detailed Moscow's plans to invade Ukraine, its democratic neighbor.
We are in the window when an invasion could begin at any time, should Vladimir Putin decide to order it.
Then came a legal stunt by the Russian president. Vladimir Putin formally recognized the independence of 2 separatist enclaves long supported by Russia and announced what he called a special military operation. Just before sunrise on February 24th, missiles struck the capital, Kyiv. In those early hours, Russian forces targeted military infrastructure and a nearby airport. Despite a U.S. offer to evacuate, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky refused to leave, emerging as a voice to rally his country. Zelensky saying, "This night they will make an assault upon us. We all have to understand what we're going to face. This night we have to withstand. The fate of Ukraine is now being decided." Ukraine's armed forces and volunteer fighters defended cities across the country, heavily relying on billions of dollars worth of American weapons. And Russia's attacks quickly blurred the line between soldier and civilian. They seized the Chernobyl and Zaporozhye nuclear power plants, holding staff at gunpoint. They hit residential buildings, hospitals, schools, a Holocaust memorial site, a home for the elderly, a train station full of people trying to flee, even a theater with the word children written in Cyrillic on the pavement outside.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
International sanctions and condemnation did not stop Russia's cluster bombs and hypersonic missiles. Peace talks did not bring peace, and 3 negotiators suspected they had been poisoned by the Russians. Inside Russia, citizens who protested the war were arrested, the word war banned. But a 40-mile-long convoy of tanks, armored vehicles, and artillery stalled, like so many of Russia's plans for Ukraine.
Many units are suffering from low morale and disenchantment by some of their younger enlisted troops. Their leaders are also frustrated, not only with some of their troops and their troops' performance, but even with their colleagues' performance.
Sweeping military losses drove Russian forces in the north to retreat. That revealed mass graves and tortured civilians scattered on the streets of liberated towns, like the Kyiv suburb of Bucha. Some crimes were less visible. Ukraine's ombudsman for human rights said a group of women and teenagers were systematically raped in a basement.
Я прожила 95 років, а я такого не пережила. І голод пережила у 33-му, і в 41-му році прожила війну. Ну такого страховиська, такого я ще не бачила.
Russian forces have since regrouped, focusing on Ukraine's south and east. Beyond fighting, abducting mayors, and erecting filtration camps, the assailed port city of Mariupol became a symbol of defiance. Ukrainian fighters holed up beside civilians in the sprawling Azovstal steel plant, refusing to surrender.
We're taking heavy casualties, we're taking losses. Every day might be our last. We have extremely limited resources that are very short as for now. And the result of this might be our imminent death or capturing by the enemy, which is also means death for us.
Last week, Russia took control of the steel mill. But the Pentagon says the nearly 3-month fight took Russian battalion tactical groups away from other operations. Sasha Ingber, Newsy, Washington.